Stop. Do not answer yet. Do not sign your name, spend the money, make the announcement, resign from the job, relocate your family, or celebrate so loudly that you can no longer hear wisdom. Be still for a moment. The door may be open, but before you cross it, I need you to examine who is reaching for the handle. You asked me for movement. You prayed for opportunity. You watched other people advance, while your own path seemed hidden behind delay, disappointment, and doors that would not move. You carried questions no one heard. You smiled while wondering whether your season would ever change. And now that something new has appeared, every wounded place within you wants to shout, "This must be it." But hear me clearly. What if the opportunity is new, while your response is still being governed by the old season? What if rejection is telling you to prove yourself? What if scarcity is telling you this is your only chance? What if exhaustion has made any escape look like direction? What if the need to be seen is moving faster than discernment? I am not telling you the opportunity is false. I am telling you that even a real opportunity can be mishandled by an unhealed response. A door can lead into a larger room, while the same chains remain hidden beneath new clothing. Your title can change while your fear stays in command. Your income can increase, while scarcity still dictates every decision. Your audience can grow while your private life becomes smaller, lonelier, and less honest. This message is not a prediction of failure, it is protection. I do not want you afraid of growth. I want you prepared to receive it without sacrificing your peace, your integrity, your health, or the identity that was restored in the quiet places. There are 8 thresholds before you: urgency, motive, cost, character, private integrity, relationships, counsel, and stewardship. Each one will reveal whether this opportunity can be carried in freedom or whether the old you is trying to use it as a disguise. So do not run from the door, do not worship it either. Stand before it with gratitude and clear eyes. What belongs in your life does not need to be secured through panic, pride, secrecy, or self-abandonment. And before we test what has appeared before you, you must understand what happened behind you. The waiting was not empty. The silence was not wasted. The season you were desperate to leave was shaping the person now standing at this threshold. You thought the waiting season was measured only by what did not happen. The call did not come. The door did not open. The answer did not appear. But while the landscape around you seemed unchanged, something within you was being strengthened. Patience was growing where panic once lived. Prayer was replacing impulsive reaction. Restraint was becoming stronger than desperation. Gratitude was teaching your eyes to recognize what was already present. Hear me clearly. Preparation was never a declaration that you were unworthy. It was not punishment. It was not rejection. It was the strengthening of the person who would one day be trusted with greater weight. Consider Joseph. The palace did not create the leader. It revealed the leader hardship had been forming. Betrayal taught him that pain did not have to become vengeance. Service taught him to remain faithful without applause. Responsibility in hidden places prepared him to carry authority in a visible one. His suffering did not automatically entitle him to promotion, but through it, his character was tested, his abilities were developed, and his dependence became deeper than his ambition. Now look at your own life. There was a time when uncertainty controlled your breathing. Now you know how to pause. There was a time when disappointment determined your entire day. Now you can grieve without surrendering your direction. There was a time when you needed every answer at once. Now you have learned to take the next faithful step and trust me with what remains unseen. Do not overlook this transformation simply because no one applauded it. The peace that arrived before the answer was part of the answer. I taught you to stand before circumstances changed so that circumstances would never become your foundation. I taught you to value ordinary provision, to receive correction, to honor the people who supported you, and to admit when your own strength was insufficient. You learned dependence without helplessness, gratitude without denial, and humility without shrinking. These are not souvenirs from a season you have escaped. They are the tools your next season will demand. The person formed in the waiting is more valuable than the image of success you once imagined. Protect that person. Protect the prayer life, restraint, honesty, and peace built when nobody was watching. Because the first force that will try to dismantle what the waiting built will not always look dangerous. It will feel like excitement. It will sound like answer now. It will whisper, if you hesitate, you will lose everything. That force is urgency, and before you call it faith, you must learn how to test it. Urgency is the first threshold because it can imitate faith so convincingly. After a long delay, an offer can feel like vindication. Your body feels lighter. Your imagination races forward. You picture the announcement, the relief on your family's faces, and the people who doubted you finally becoming silent. Then another thought enters. If I do not answer immediately, this will disappear. Now hear me clearly. That thought may not be direction. It may be the memory of rejection wearing the voice of wisdom. When you have been overlooked repeatedly, one invitation can feel like your only invitation. When you have lived with scarcity, one payment can look like permanent security. When your pride has been wounded, one title can seem capable of repairing what humiliation broke. Suddenly, you are no longer examining the opportunity. You are asking it to prove that your waiting mattered. But courage is not haste. Faith does not fear questions. You can pray, read the terms, ask what will be expected, seek counsel, and allow your emotions to settle. A peaceful heart takes the next faithful step. A troubled mind tries to live the next 5 years before the day is over. Do not accept a position merely to silence your critics. Do not enter an agreement merely to impress your family. Do not carry work that will destroy you simply because being chosen feels better than being ignored. Your worth was not created by this invitation, and it cannot be withdrawn by its absence. Before you commit, practice this pause. Breathe slowly. Name the strongest emotion in the room. Is it gratitude, fear, relief, anger, vanity, or desperation? Then ask what you believe will happen if you wait. Are you afraid the door will close? Are you afraid someone else will receive what you wanted? Are you afraid of returning to the silence you just escaped? Now remove the audience from your imagination. If no critic could see this, if no friend could applaud it, and if no one online would know, would you still want the responsibility attached to the opportunity? Examine anything that demands panic, secrecy, unquestioning loyalty, or an answer before you can understand the cost. Be cautious when flattery replaces clarity. Be cautious when artificial pressure is used to keep you from counsel. What is aligned with truth does not need fear-driven self-betrayal to survive. Urgency is information, not instruction. Let it reveal where the old wound still speaks, but do not let it make the decision. Once the pressure has been lowered, you can finally see the door itself. And now it must face 3 discipline tests: motive, cost, and character. Gratitude does not require unquestioning acceptance. You can thank me for allowing a door to appear and still examine where it leads. You can honor an invitation without surrendering your discernment. An open door is not a command to close your eyes. Threshold 2 is motive. Ask yourself, why do I want this? Is it because the work allows you to serve, create, provide, and fulfill a purpose? Or are you trying to outrun insecurity? Are you competing with someone whose life made you feel small? Are you hoping success will punish those who rejected you? Are you seeking connection or merely trying to escape loneliness? Are you prepared for the responsibility or hungry for the admiration attached to it? Do not condemn yourself for discovering mixed motives. Bring them into the light. What is revealed can be purified. What remains hidden will quietly lead. Threshold 3 is cost. Every opportunity has a price, but not every price is yours to pay. Examine what this door requires from your time, health, money, attention, family, prayer, and rest. Does it demand that you become unavailable to everyone you love? Does it pressure you to violate the law, bend the truth, conceal important facts, or silence your conscience? Does it consume resources you cannot responsibly risk? Difficulty does not automatically mean the path is wrong. Some challenges deepen patience, courage, and faith. But there is a difference between being stretched and being steadily dismantled. Growth can be demanding without requiring you to betray what is sacred. Threshold 4 is character. Ask, who must I become to sustain this? More truthful or more secretive? More generous or more consumed? More patient or more performative? More grounded or divided between the person people applaud and the person no one sees? Now hear me clearly. Put 4 questions before the opportunity. What must be hidden? What must be neglected? Who will carry the cost? And what happens if the promised reward arrives later, smaller, or not at all? Imagine two futures. In the first, the room is impressive. Your name is known, the numbers have increased, but your body is exhausted, your home feels distant, your conscience is troubled, and your peace has become the price of maintaining the image. In the second, the road is still demanding. You must learn, sacrifice, and grow, yet you can remain honest. You can receive correction. Your closest relationships are not treated as obstacles, and the work forms character instead of consuming it. Do not judge only by appearance. A closed door is not always rejection, and an open one is not always approval. Both must be interpreted through wisdom, timing, and purpose. Motive reveals what is moving you. Cost reveals what the door will take. Character reveals who you may become after entering. But the next test goes deeper, because opportunity does not create every weakness it exposes. Often, it simply magnifies what was already waiting within you. More visibility does not heal rejection. More money does not silence scarcity. More responsibility does not cure the need to feel indispensable. Success does not remove what you refuse to heal. It gives it greater reach. If approval has become your measure of worth, every request will feel like a test. You will say, yes, when wisdom says, rest. You will accept burdens that were never assigned to you because disappointing someone feels more dangerous than exhausting yourself. And when criticism comes, you will not hear feedback. You will hear the old voice of rejection saying, you are unwanted again. If productivity has become your identity, opportunity will make self-erasure look respectable. You will call it dedication while your body is pleading for recovery. You will feel guilty when you stop, restless when you rest, and valuable only when you produce. The people you love will receive whatever remains after ambition has consumed your attention. Now hear me clearly. That is not stewardship. That is bondage wearing professional clothing. If financial fear has ruled your imagination, sudden access can awaken impulses you thought were gone. You may spend to display success, expand before the foundation is stable, conceal decisions from those affected, or try to repay years of deprivation in a single season. Money is a tool. It cannot repair identity, erase shame, or purchase the peace you abandoned to obtain it. And if image management has protected you from vulnerability, recognition can divide your life in two. The public story becomes polished. The private soul becomes anxious. You learn to smile while resentment grows, to speak of peace while hiding compromise, and to protect the appearance of success more fiercely than the truth. Old relational wounds can also return. Success becomes a shield against closeness. The people who knew you before recognition begin to feel inconvenient because they remember the version of you that needed help. You may mistake correction for disrespect and honest concern for jealousy. Stop here. Do not answer shame with shame. Take an honest inventory. Name the pattern. Remember what once awakened it. Rejection may trigger overperformance. Lack may trigger impulsive control. Betrayal may trigger secrecy. Neglect may trigger a hunger to be admired. Then ask, if I receive more access, money, influence, or responsibility, how could this pattern grow? I am revealing this to protect you, not punish you. Exposure is not condemnation. It is mercy arriving before the wound becomes the leader of your new season. You are not being prepared for a larger cage with brighter lights. You are being called into freedom. But recognition must now become integrity, especially in the private places that applause cannot purify, money cannot heal, and visibility cannot hide forever. Now the examination moves from the door before you to the hidden rooms within you. You have learned how to function while carrying pain. You have smiled while grieving, served while exhausted, and appeared confident while shame questioned your worth. Ambition has sometimes covered unmet needs so well that even you forgot what was underneath. But nothing hidden becomes harmless merely because you can manage it in public. Integrity is alignment. It is the agreement between what you proclaim and what you practice, between the values you defend and the choices you make when no one is watching. It appears in your financial decisions, your treatment of family, your private conversations, and your behavior toward people who cannot advance your name. Hear me clearly. Admiration cannot authorize what conscience has already identified as wrong. Applause cannot turn dishonesty into wisdom. Success cannot make cruelty acceptable. A growing audience does not excuse a shrinking character. Watch for the signs of division. You begin hiding details that once would have been easy to explain. You call a small compromise necessary because the reward seems important. You resent the person who asks questions. You perform faith in public while neglecting truth in private. You use pressure as permission to become harsh, absent, or careless with the people who trusted you before recognition arrived. Do not protect the image at the expense of the person. Confession is not humiliation. It is the moment secrecy loses authority. Name what is wrong. Make repair where repair is possible. Return what was taken. Correct what was misrepresented. Apologize without disguising responsibility as explanation. Then walk differently. Forgiveness is real, but forgiveness does not eliminate consequences. It does not rebuild trust without change. It does not erase the need for boundaries, accountability, or restitution. Grace releases you from being chained to the former self. It does not invite you to repeat the former self under a new title. Make a covenant with the person no audience can see. Keep truthful records. Invite one trustworthy person to ask questions you would rather avoid. Decide your ethical boundaries before pressure arrives. And when you notice drift, respond immediately. Do not wait for compromise to become scandal before calling it dangerous. This opportunity is not only a stage on which you may shine, it is pressure revealing whether the inner structure can bear greater weight. Fire does not create the fracture in the vessel. It exposes where strengthening is still required. The safest protection for a public blessing is private accountability established before temptation becomes a crisis. But good intentions alone will not sustain that integrity. You will need the ordinary practices, honest relationships, and quiet anchors that carried you through the waiting season. And those are precisely what success will tempt you to leave behind. Success will tempt you to call your anchors temporary. It will tell you that prayer belonged to the waiting season. Rest belonged to the season of recovery. Modest habits belong to the season of lack. And honest friendships belong to the days before important people knew your name. Do not believe it. The quiet mornings, family meals, moments of reflection, and conversations where you could speak without performing were not evidence that your life was small. They helped create the capacity required for healthy expansion. They kept your heart soft when disappointment could have made it hard. They reminded you who you were when circumstances offered no applause. Remember the ordinary gifts you once prayed not to lose. Breath in your lungs, food before you, shelter around you, and the voice of someone who checked on you when your silence became heavy. Remember the daily mercy that carried you when you had enough strength for only one more step. Gratitude keeps increase from becoming entitlement. It teaches you to notice today's provision, even while building toward tomorrow. And let your home experience the peace you display in public. Do not offer strangers your patience while giving your family only your exhaustion. Listen without reaching for your phone. Become gentle where pressure has made you sharp. Let your presence become a place of safety, not another demand. The people closest to you should not have to compete with your opportunity to reach your heart. Now hear me clearly. Preserve the relationships that can survive your success without worshiping it. Flattering access will celebrate everything you do. Faithful friendship will comfort you, correct you, encourage you, and tell you the truth when your title is trying to make you deaf. For the first stage of this opportunity, protect 6 anchors: prayer, rest, health, family commitments, financial restraint, and 1 regular accountability conversation. Place them on the calendar before optional demands consume the space. Do not expand your lifestyle before the foundation is stable. Do not sacrifice sleep to prove capacity. Do not cancel every promise made to loved ones because new people suddenly consider your time valuable. The form of these practices may change. A longer prayer may become a quiet pause before dawn. A weekly meal may move to another evening. Adaptation is not abandonment. The schedule can change, but the purpose must remain protected. Connection with me, care for your body, truth in your relationships, and freedom from reckless excess. If maintaining an opportunity requires losing every practice and person that helped you become whole, stop and examine it again. The door may be recruiting the old over-functioning self, the one who survived by neglecting every need rather than supporting the person healing created. Your life may expand without becoming unrecognizable. Protect the anchors, and growth will not have to uproot you. Now, the testing must become a decision. With your motives examined and your foundations guarded, you must determine whether your faithful response is to accept the opportunity, reshape it, delay it, or release it. You are not limited to two responses: immediate acceptance or complete rejection. There are 4 faithful answers available to you. Yes, not yet, not under these terms, or no. Yes may be right when the purpose is clear, the cost is responsible, and the opportunity can be carried without violating conviction. Not yet may be right when the direction is sound, but the timing, preparation, finances, health, or family circumstances are not ready. Not under these terms may be right when the opportunity has value, but its present structure requires unnecessary compromise. And no may be the most courageous answer when the offer is impressive but misaligned. Do not mistake negotiation for ingratitude. It can be stewardship. Ask what the role actually requires. Clarify compensation, schedule, authority, support, ethical expectations, and how success will be measured. Examine how these demands affect promises you have already made. An attractive title cannot compensate for responsibilities that remain deliberately vague. When the decision feels too heavy to carry alone, seek wise counsel. Choose people who can protect confidence, ask difficult questions, and correct you without controlling you. Do not gather only voices that mirror your excitement. Automatic enthusiasm is not discernment. Use clear language. You may say, "Thank you for the invitation. I need time to review the responsibilities before deciding." You may ask, "What boundaries exist around the schedule, and who has authority when concerns arise?" You may propose, "I am interested, but I can accept only if these conditions are clarified." And if the answer is no, say, "I appreciate the opportunity, but I cannot responsibly commit to it." You do not owe a courtroom defense for every healthy limit. I know what you fear. You believe that asking questions may close the door. You fear that proposing boundaries will make them choose someone easier to control. But your worth is not secured by one person's approval, and your future is not contained inside one offer. Surrender does not mean becoming passive. Release your demand to control the outcome, then take responsibility for careful action. Pray, investigate, listen, decide. Trust me with what follows. Some opportunities are right but premature. Some become healthy only after the terms change. Some are bright distractions from a quieter assignment that carries less applause but greater alignment. Now, apply the courage test. Choose the response that allows truth, peace, responsibility, and conviction to remain in the same room. If one of them must be expelled to preserve the offer still requires examination. Once you answer, however, another responsibility begins. You must enter the new season as a steward, not as a wounded person, using success to prove that you were worthy all along. This opportunity is an assignment to steward. It is not a trophy, proving that you were finally worthy. You were not made valuable by being selected, promoted, funded, invited, or recognized. If you use the opportunity to settle that question, you will demand from success what it can never give. The old self performs to be accepted. The renewed self serves from a secure identity. The old self grasps because it fears there will never be enough. The renewed self discerns because it knows one opportunity does not contain the whole future. The old self hides mistakes to preserve an image. The renewed self remains accountable because truth matters more than appearance. Now hear me clearly. Money, influence, recognition, and access are tools. They reveal priorities. They enlarge responsibility. They give you greater capacity to provide for family, strengthen community, honor honest work, and fulfill purpose. But when tools become trophies, they begin to own the person who was meant to steward them. For the first 30 days, move carefully. Do not make an identity-defining announcement before you understand the assignment. Do not expand your lifestyle because one payment or promise has arrived. Write down every commitment you have made. Protect time for rest before your calendar becomes crowded. Then invite trusted counsel to review the opportunity's effect on your health, finances, relationships, and private integrity. Do not measure healthy expansion by numbers alone. Ask whether your peace remains stable. Ask whether your home still feels safe. Ask whether your conduct in private agrees with what you present in public. Ask whether generosity is growing with access. Ask whether you can still receive correction without calling every uncomfortable voice an enemy. Not every criticism is an attack. Some opposition is resistance to necessary work, but some feedback is mercy identifying what excitement concealed. Examine it. Correct what is true. Release what is false. Remain firm where conviction is clear, but do not use spiritual language to protect pride from accountability. And do not return to patterns I have already led you away from merely because success has made them respectable. Overwork is still overwork when people praise it. Recklessness is still recklessness when the numbers are larger. Neglect is still neglect when it is performed in the name of purpose. Your strongest breakthrough is not entering a larger room. It is entering that room without abandoning the person formed through healing, patience, gratitude, and truth. It is carrying greater responsibility without becoming fragmented, proud, or invisible to yourself. Receive expansion, but remain whole. Grow, but stay grounded. Advance, but remain free. Now let this understanding become more than a thought. Let it become a covenant. Bring the opportunity, the fear, the ambition, and the future before me as we seal this message in prayer. Now become still. You have walked through the waiting, stood before the opportunity, and resisted the rush to call excitement direction. You have examined the motive, counted the cost, confronted the hidden pattern, protected your integrity, preserved your anchors, and found the courage to answer with wisdom. Hear me clearly. You are not required to remain chained to the person you once were. You do not have to purchase a future by betraying yourself. You do not have to trade peace for progress, honesty for influence, family for recognition, or health for applause. Bring the entire opportunity before me now. Father, I surrender this door and the future I have imagined behind it. I surrender my timeline, my public image, the financial promise, the fear of rejection, and my need to control every outcome. If excitement has created confusion, give me clarity. If praise has awakened ego, restore humility. If scarcity is urging me toward excess, give me restraint. If healthy boundaries disappoint others, give me courage. Lead me toward the right opportunity in the right season. Let honest work find its proper purpose. Close every direction that requires deception, neglect, or self-abandonment. And where the right path remains difficult, use the challenge to strengthen me without dividing me. Keep my heart grateful when increase arrives. Keep my hands responsible when resources expand. Keep my private life aligned when more people begin to watch. Help me receive correction without defensiveness and rest without guilt. Let my home experience the peace I speak about in public. I release the need to prove that my waiting mattered. The person formed in that season is already evidence that it did. If this is your commitment, write these words. I will not abandon who I became. Do not write them as a payment for blessing or a formula that controls the future. Write them as a covenant with yourself, a reminder that no opportunity is permitted to become your identity or your master. Stay grounded. Stay truthful. Stay connected. May your next decision rise neither from panic nor pride, but from peace, wisdom, gratitude, and freedom. May you recognize what is right, reshape what can become healthy, delay what is premature, and release what cannot be carried without compromise. The door may enlarge your assignment. It may increase your responsibility and place you in rooms you once only imagined. But it will not be allowed to resurrect the bondage of your former season. You will enter with open hands, clear eyes, an undivided heart, and you will remain free.